everybody, it's Micheline from Micheline Makes again. This, just so you know, this is a bought t-shirt. I just bought it when I was on holiday last week, and I just thought I'd wear it because I quite like it. It's Morrison's. Oh, dirty mark. I got it from Morrison's for those of you who are interested. I got it from Morrison's, and I like the colour. I think you can get this colour online, so from suppliers. So I might buy some more. I quite like the style, the fabric, as I say. Anyway, I have been sewing. I've made. Well, let me just tell you. A while back, I've been sewing a lot of clothes, but in May, I decided that I got really frustrated because of my figure. Every pattern I do, I have to adjust here and adjust there, and it was irritating. And I thought I really shouldn't make a sloper, or a sloper is like a pattern specially to fit your body that you can base all your other patterns on. So then I decided, right, I've got to do that. I've got to do something now, but I haven't got the time. So I suddenly went bing in my head. I suddenly realised, yeah, I know what to do. I shall go to Lacala, because you can put your measurements in there and they can do your pattern to your size. So I went onto Lacala, and I came across this pattern, which I quite liked. I came across this pattern. The sloper usually it's just the bodice, like those little cards I showed you. I'll put a picture up here. It's usually a bodice, and then it's a skirt. But this one that I chose was slightly different. Let's see if I can open it up and show you. It was like that, and I liked it because it's got a princess line kind of seam at the front. The back has a zip and a pleat. But what I did was I made some tops out of it like that. That I wanted to make a top that might fit a bit better. And the first one I made, I used that. Do you remember that camouflage fabric I got that it was in pink? I didn't like it, so I dyed it purple, and I used that to make the first one. And it was I didn't put a zip in the back. I just made it like this kind of thing, so you can put it over yourself. And I liked it. I thought really nice. And so then I thought I'd try one in a crepe de chine, but the second one, because it was crepe de chine, didn't allow for much movement. So in the end, I put slits up the side to try and compensate for the movement of when you're sitting down, so it's not gathering up. And I liked that too. I think I prefer to do it in jersey fabrics. I shall look out for some nice jersey fabrics to make tops with, but I found it was very flattering, and the fact that it's got this princess seam down here, it just fits nicer on my bust. So I'll put some videos up to let you see what they look like. But the actual instructions, you have to be kind of if you're a confident beginner, fine. If you're an intermediate, fine. If you're an advanced, you don't need to worry. They don't give you much instructions. This shows you the picture. That tells you a little bit about the pattern. That tells you about cutting, and that's your instructions. So you can see there's not really that much that they give you. But this is a straightforward pattern, so you shouldn't need to worry about it. Instruction 1, sew the princess edges on the front and back parts. So basically all the edges you sew. Serge the seams and press them towards the centre and front part. So basically the instructions are they expect you to know what you're doing. And I found it quite straightforward to do. So I will be making more of that pattern. I thought was very good. But they don't tell you how much fabric to go for, which is a bit awkward because you get you get this, which tells you. I'll turn it that way so you can see. This is basically the layout of what the patterns consist of, and it tells you it's a PDF pattern. All the colour patterns on PDF, but in my case, I just print them on A4, and so this shows you what numbers should match for you to get that pattern. So basically, the back is like that with a little vent. That's the front side. That's the front rather on a fold. This one you can put on a fold, but it won't curve in as much. Then that's the front side, back side, and the sleeve. The sleeve, I did find that I had to take the sleeve in a little bit because it was I like my sleeves fairly tight, so I had to take it in a little bit. Overall, I thought the pattern was great, and the good thing about it was they only cost £2.50 or something. $3 I think, or $2.50. So I thought that was really good. And what I also found was good was the fact that you can get it straight away by downloading. But Lecala have improved since the last time, because what they've done is that each time I've gone on, I bought a pattern at the start of 2018, I think it was. That's the last time I bought from them. And they've changed you can try this picture in different colours, different patterns. So what I'll do is after this, I'll put a little video to show you how you can do all the different colours and patterns to see what it would look like. I think that's really good. The measurements that they asked for, I don't know if they've reduced the detail of it, because they ask for your bust, your waist, your hips, your height, your full hip, and your full hip is basically, if you look at the side view, you've got a bit of a belly. If you're big, some of us have a bit of a belly, so the full hip measures the big belly bit, whereas the other hip just measures where your hip is. So I enjoyed making it, so much so that my next vlog is going to tell you how I modified it a bit. So anyway, I'm going to stop. I'll show you a little bit about Lecala, and then after that, I'll catch you next time. Bye.
So you're on the Lecala page, and the first thing you do is you go to Women, and scroll down to Dresses. Click on Dresses, and that opens up to show you the designs that are on the dresses. Now I need you to scroll down, all the way down to the bottom where it gives you the page numbers, and you need to go to page 5. So click on page 5, the number 5, and that will take you to the 5th page, which has the dress that I'm referring to. Scroll down, and it's this one. It's a sloper pattern, and you need to click on the basic sloper, click on the text, and it brings up the actual sloper pattern.
Now at the top it says woven dress fabrics with elastane and knit fabrics. Now when you click that, nothing really happens there. I'm not quite sure why those are there, but basically I would say that it's telling us that you probably should make it with elastane, with a fabric that's got some elastane in. Then you can choose apply standard measurements, or you can apply custom measurements, and that one is the actual one that I have, but we won't click on that because we're going to do another one. So it says you basically scroll down, and you start with your height, with your bust. Now it's centimeters here, so what I'm going to do here is go to the inches, because I work in inches on bust and body measurements. So I'll click on inches. Some people work on centimeters, so it just depends on what you want to do. Then seam allowances, I'm going to say yes, I want a seam allowance. You do pay a bit extra for it, but I'd rather that way. Then you put your height in and you start filling all the important bits of information as you go down: the underbust, the waist, the hip, the full hip. And the full hip is basically, that's your hip, but we bigger women tend to have a bit more of a prominence there. So you line it down like a straight ruler from your biggest part of your belly, and that's your full hip. Close that and back to the measurements, and you then can go to, once you've got all those entered in there, then you can go to the middle one, which is optional. And the optional measurements, when I click on that, it says neck measurements and upper arm. So you can put those in. And then the next one is adjustments. Now these are highlighted in blue and they show you what kind of adjustments you have to certain parts of your body: your arm length, your leg length, your waist height, and so on. If you click on one of these blue lines, not so much that because you've got low, regular and high, but if you click on a blue line, blue text there, then it will show you what you've got to say about your measurements: head height and neck length comparatively to torso and height. So basically, is your head height to your neck length reduced, and so on. And the same applies to all these blue text here. If you click on it, you will find what it's trying to ask you about your waist or your body, or how any changes could be. Arm and leg length, if I've got shorter legs, some people have longer ones, so you would choose whether your measurements are shorter or longer. There's a one about your bust. Is your bust protruding points at the distance between your bust? And then we go to neck circumference. There's the measurement for your neck circumference. Is it reduced? Is it normal? Or is it increased? Now, you would go working down all these other ones: shoulder, back width, breast width, and then you can go to decide whether you want A4, A3, or what format you want it printed in, want them to email you to so that it can be printed, and add to cart.
And when you add to your cart, I think this particular one is $4 for 4.04, which is not really too bad. And then you've got your layout samples here. So if you click on there, it shows you the layout samples. And this bit here, you will notice that it actually refers to the measurements of your body that you've given. These are the measurements of your body that you've given on the information that you've just given there. And this tells you a little bit about how much material you may need, although don't take that as written. Then what else? Oh, if you go to the instructions in English, you will get an instruction sheet like this, the basic slope per sewing pattern, and it will tell you all about it, on the length of the fabric, on how to cut it and how to sew it. As I said, it says a note on the length of fabric. It doesn't actually tell you too much about what kind of fabric you'll need, how much fabric you'll need, but those instructions are fairly basic, but those of you who are competent should be able to do them, should be able to follow them, or even go by your own gut feeling.
Now that was the way I did it, but there is another way you can do it. And the way that you do the other way is going back to the home page, and
you can see it says create your own made-to-measure sewing pattern from scratch. Draft a custom sewing patterns at the touch of a button, choose from our range of basic blocks, customize the fit and add design elements in real time. Then simply download and print the PDF pattern in your size. So basically, if you click on that, so when you get to this page, you've got patterns. Let me just use my cursor. Patterns, online designer, project, stash, library, community, market, and Sewist card. So basically here you choose the one that you want to make. Now I went for a dress, and it tells you 361.9 billion people went for a dress. And then you choose the options of what kind of dress you want. So do you want a semi-fitted, a fitted, a loose, a bodycon knit? Well, I didn't want a bodycon. I wanted kind of a semi-fitted to a fitted. I wanted a bit of room in this, so I went for the semi-fitted one. And so I click on that. And then it asks you what kind of length you want. Now I tend to like my dresses fairly long, about that length, so I looked for a T length. And then it says, do you want regular armholes? Do you want regular armholes, wrap dress, one piece? So I'm going to go for regular armholes. And then after that, it asks what kind of neckline do you want? Well, I wanted, which one did I go for? I went for a modest bateau because that's a favourite of mine. Then it asks what kind of collar you want. Well, I decided I was going to have no collar, so I went for no collar because this is the sloper. I didn't want any front closure, so I clicked on that I wanted no front closure. Then it said, do you want a dress with a waist? Well, initially I went for this one, a dress without a waist, but this is equally as good, the dress with a waist. So let's go for the dress with the waist. I went for a different one, but we'll go for that one just to let you see how you can do a sloper. Do you want your waist seam straight, princess, waist seam A-line? Well, basically, if you're doing a sloper, you want it fairly straight, and then you can modify it as you want. So I went for that one. And you can see all the choices there are. There's quite a lot of choices there. Do you want front darts, a front design with princess seams, or an exclusive type of design? Well, the one that I did was the princess seams, but you can, on a normal sloper, you can go for front design darts. So let's go for the front design darts. Do you want shoulder and waist darts, or do you want armhole darts, neck darts? Well, the one that you usually go for is this one. You can more or less see what people have gone for. It shows you what the different versions are. But as I say, we're just designing a sloper. Once you've done your sloper, you could probably think about going for other ones to see what they're like. So I'm choosing front shoulder and waist darts. You can see all the variations of darts that they offer. It says coming soon, a front armhole and a French dart. Or you can have all front darts transferred to the waist. Then it asks me, see how it piles it all up along here, all the choices that I've gone for. On my back, do I want back darts or do I want princess seams? Well, on it, because I'm going to do a sloper, I want the back darts. Then it asks me, do I want a back waist dart, a back shoulder dart and waist dart, and all the different styles there are there. Well, I'm going to go for a back shoulder dart and a waist dart, so I'll stick with that one. Then it says, do I want no sleeves or add a sleeve? Well, I'm going to add a sleeve. Now then it asks me what kind of sleeve I want. Well, I wouldn't say short arms, but I don't like long sleeves. So I'm going to go for this 3/4 length sleeve. I could have a full length, a half length, and so on. But I'm going to stick with this one because I like that length sleeve. And if I wanted it longer, I can always extend it. So I'm going to stick with a 3/4 length sleeve. Then it comes to this one, which it says, you choose a standard size or a saved size. Well, I've already saved one, but let's go through what it asks you to do. It asks you to put in your height, your bust, your under bust, your waist, your hip, and your full hip. Now, the full hip, it says, what's the difference between a hip and a full hip? That's your hip there. Your full hip is if you have a belly that sticks out, then you measure like that to see what your full hip is. So you put that in. Then it asks you if you want it in centimetres or inches. Do you want it in A4, A3, A2, A1 or A0? Do you want it in, well, if you want A4 you can't have letter, but there's all those different variations. Do you want seam allowances on? Well, if you might as well. I want seam allowances because I'm not bothered about not having the seam allowances. You can buy it for £1.99 in Swiss francs. So then it says get a free preview. So let's get a free preview. I'm not sure if I can do it like this. I might have to put my what I'll have to do is I'll have to put my choose a saved size, register to save a customized size. I don't think I've added myself in. Right. And basically it says the pattern will be made to measure to the size measurements you provide in the form above. After the customizing service is complete, usually 5 to 10 minutes, the pattern will be emailed to your address that you mention in your checkout. The listings are for the file downloaded only. No paper printouts will be mailed. The pattern can be provided in PDF, etc. I've already said that. Now then what you can do, you get the instructions in English there. You can choose English or you can choose them in a different language, but your instructions will come up now. And there's your instructions. It's showing you what the pattern's going to look like. It tells you if the pattern has a double contour, the seam allowances are included. It's got a zip down there. This one hasn't got a pleat, a kick pleat, but that's easy enough to put on. And then it basically tells you how to cut it out with instructions. Tells it's quite a bit more detailed than some of the other one. Now and then it says download the sewing pattern online. So you've got to buy the pattern first. Now, and so there you go. Continue on. It's showing you the pattern there, and that's all your instructions which you can download. Sorry, I'm going rather fast there, but those are the instructions you can download. Now then, you can actually choose your colour. So supposing you like pink, you can see what it would look like in pink. If you like brown, you can look at it, see what it looks like in all the different colours. So you can get an idea of what it's going to, what that colour, what that pattern's going to look like on you. And then now you can also here choose fabric. So supposing I want to get a polka dot, I can choose, let's choose a black and white one, and this is what it would look like with black and white polka dot. Let me try a plaid colour, geometric. Let's try a geometric one, and it gives you some examples of geometric patterns you could use. Let's go for a multicoloured one and see what that looks like. That's what it would look like in the multicoloured pattern. Let's try this geometric one, and that's what it would look like there. And what you can do is you could print this off if you wanted to, just to see what it was like. Let's try holiday. What's holiday? I'm not sure what holiday is. Graphic. Oh, you could go for something graphic. Let's try green watercolour. It says that's a green watercolour. So you get an idea of what it's going to look like if you made it up. So once you've got that, you click on, once you've got all your details uploaded here, you click to buy, and you'll get an email in about 10 minutes after you've clicked to buy, and it will and then you can print it out. So that's a basic sloper with your measurements, and then from that you can build. Let me go to a plain colour now. Let's try and get a plain colour there. That would be a lot easier to the eye. Once you've got there, that's better. Once you've got your sloper there, you've got your body and your sleeves. I found that I didn't have to change too much of it. So that is how to order a sloper with Lacala patterns. Now